Hey, I was digging around back there in my tobacco storage area, what I call my cellar, and I came across something. Look at it. Can you read that? Can that be read? Oh, it's pipes and cigars. Russ's Tasty Cake, and this looks like, let's see. Oh, looks like this is about. Could be 8 years old. It was a 2 ounce trial bag, and I again forgot I had it. I just have I've got a little a box of odds and ends back there, and I wanted to see. I mean, it wasn't in glass or anything, so it was basically just sitting in this bag in the room air for most of a decade. Let's see what we got inside here. Ready? Well, you know what? When it gets that old, it's funny. I find that when tobacco gets this old and this dried out, it begins to smell a little bit like maple syrup. The thing about it is, though, the moisture content in tobacco is not all water. It's the water that evaporates out. The fluid content in this is a lot of oils. So you can reconstitute this to some degree, and the other thing about it is you can when you smoke it, those oils will melt out and it will begin acting like it's moist again. So don't give up on tobacco that's been fossilized like that. You can rub some of that out, and let's see if we can make a good pipe full out of that. I'll need me a receptacle. I use this kind of my general tobacco everything receptacle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to break a hunk off of this Russ's Tasty Cake. That's actually way more than you need, because that'll rub out to a lot. And we're going to see what this tastes like. Figured I would start today's video with a little pipe talk. Some of you guys care about that. Some of you smoke pipes. And some of you have not smoked pipes. There's two kinds of people in the world. There's people that belong to the YouTube pipe community. And then there's, wasted lives. So those are the two types. You're going to be one or the other. And I have tried to remain a somewhat active member of the YTPC, but I don't create a lot of content like I used to about it, but that's okay. I like to share a little bit of gentleman's culture with you guys. You probably have noticed this isn't probably the most female-friendly channel, but it's not designed to be that way. It's just it appeals to gentlemen's concerns, gentlemen's pursuits. So it's not like I have to dry this out. That is basically, and you can hear it. Let's see what happens. What I have here is a rather vintage mini church warden pipe from a French company called Genot. And it's, you can see it's been well chomped on and well burnt in, and even some of the outer finish is beginning to bubble off, but this pipe smokes phenomenal. This is, I've got favorite pipes for different reasons. This is one of my favorite ones as far as how good it smokes. When I used to smoke in the house, this was the one that sat at my office desk, and I just stopped doing that some years ago. So let's put this fossilized camel shit in this pipe here and see if it's anything worth smoking. While I was back there, I found some other ones too that I hadn't touched in a long time. And I'll show you that in a second. Like I said, that piece that I broke off is way more than you need. That's way more than a bowl. I got about a bowl and a half, but I'm not worried about what's left in here drying out, because I don't think you could physically dry out any more than that. When you do this and gather up all the stuff on your table like this, You cannot put that back in with your tobacco because you'll be putting in cat hairs and dust and fairy shit and whatever else was going on in your house, and you will contaminate even the most dried out fossil camel shit like that. So let's pause for a second, go out on the porch. Okay, got my Starbucks with a bit of chocolate espresso in it, Splenda and light cream. Nearest thing to heaven that you can drink within reason. And here is our Russ's Tasty Cake. Most of a decade old, left out to dry, and is now fossilized camel shit. Let's see what it tastes like. I did not rehydrate this. I did not try to reconstitute this. I just busted it out dry. Let me see what happens. In fact, you know what? Here's a handy dandy little one you can do. Make sure that bowl is real clean. Make sure it's facing down. Make sure it's straight up, and you're facing down, and you can breathe a little life into this. It's all you need. And when you touch the top, you'll feel that actually some of the leaf has become a little squishy. No, you're not drooling in it, you're just blowing through it, breathing into it. And that I will now draw through this way to take out that residual wet breath that might have been in there. Now let's light it. Getting ready for my head to cave in. Might call that the false light. Initial taste, kind of bland, but once it begins to burn and the tobacco gets hot from the spark, the surrounding unburned tobacco begins to get warm. That's when it releases some of that vapor, that flavor. Part of my hawk pot. You notice that there's more smoke coming out of it now. I burned the top to create a bit of charcoal. Let it go out. Tamped it in just a hair to bring that charcoal closer to the unburnt leaf. And relit it. And that's like using char cloth when you're camping. It burns quickly and starts a fire. In this case, it's not going to start a fire, but now I'm tasting. And you know what it tastes like? Tastes like Russ's Tasty Cake is what it tastes like. This stuff is older than God's grandparents, drier than Trump's sense of humor, and it still tastes goddamn good. It still tastes amazing. I'm glad I found that chunk of it in there. I actually found a second bag of it too. I guess when I bought the first purchase of it, I think I got about 4 ounces, and I think I broke it into two bags. All I know is I got another bag in there that's got about twice as much in it as that little chunk I just showed you. And that's a few bowls. That's a few bowls. Petrified tobacco all clumped together like that breaks down into, when you get some air inside it, you break it up, let it aerate, it spreads out. You get a few bowls out of that. That little chunk I showed you, I'll probably get about 5 or 6 bowls out of that. You saw that I broke off a tiny piece, and it was more than enough for this pipe bowl. Very nice. I gotta say, it being dried out and old, didn't matter at all. Tastes just like Russ's Tasty Cake. Now, if you smoke a pipe and you shop at pipesandscigars.com, they actually just acquired, I think, tobaccopipes.com. I think that's who they bought, right? But whatever you used to have to go to Tobacco Pipes to get, because you couldn't find it on PNC, you'll find it there now. Well, Very good. Nice stuff. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to go in, have a little bit of guitar fun. Hang around. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just sort of highlight some of the tones I'm getting with my cheaper guitars, you know, just a sort of little compilation to show you. I'll just show you this one. I was going to show you my Grote LP copy back there, that seafoam green one, or teal, or whatever they want to call it, with the tools that I got back there, using my little Vox head and my little Englishman distortion. I want to show you what kind of savage sound you could get, and it's just the sounds I'm getting from the inexpensive guitars. Tell me if they're pleasant to your ear or not. I mean, you know, disregarding my playing, you know, the sound. So here's this one through my little stage right 15-watt tube amp here. The volume is pretty much talking volume. Neck position, middle position. Kind of like the middle position on this guitar. And the bridge pickup, which as you can see has been jury rigged. It's not permanently fixed yet, but I put it there. I raised it above the pick guard because I couldn't get it close enough to strings. But this is what it sounds like at the distance from the strings that I could get it right now. I can live with that. Not bad, huh? Neck. Middle. Bridge. And by middle, of course, I mean blend. There's only 2 pickups. Hang around for the next one. Hey now, I'm back in my office here, what I consider my amp room, I guess. And here's what we're going to look at today. This is my Englishman, my pig-tone Englishman. Get that in the shot. Pig-tone Englishman pedal. That, I believe, cost me something on the order of about a little over 20 bucks on Temu. This, of course, is my Vox MV50 Clean Mini Head. I'm not going to use the compressor or anything. I'm just going to use the Vox head and our Englishman pedal to show you that the pedal and the guitar I'm going to use are inexpensive, but pretty effective. Let me get so the light's not coming from the window too much there. Hopefully you can see this. This is my Grote Les Paul copy. I forget what the actual model of it is, but this thing, oh, I got to point out that this was a shame point. Look at the back of that neck. First of all, observe the color of the neck, which is horrifying. This is what happened when I sanded the green paint off the back of the neck, because I knew it was just going to wear away anyway. It's a terrible paint job. I sanded it off thinking, you know what? I'll touch it with a bit of dye, and then I'll hit it with some oil afterwards. And that will make a nice finish. It'll feel kind of satinized. Well, the finish feels, I can tell you, fantastic. It feels great, but look what I found. When I sanded off the paint, there was this big strip of filler in the neck. Told you, inexpensive guitar. But the filler did not absorb the stain. It looked like it had, and first of all, the stain came out totally too dark. I don't know why. I diluted it, but it came out, it was supposed to be just like a brown, a plain brown. It's actually leather dye is what it is, so it's a little hard to work with. It's alcohol-based. So I put that on there, and I thought, oh no, well, you know, at least it's a uniform color. But what I didn't know is that the tongue oil that I put on after the fact, because I let it dry for a long time, sanded it down real smooth, hit it with tongue oil, a couple of coats of tongue oil. I did not know that even diluted tongue oil will wipe the dye right off of wood filler. So I was committed. I'm like, I'm not going through all that again, and I'm not going to sell this guitar, and I don't care who sees it. I mean, it's for me. The fact is, it feels fantastic. As ugly as that is, that is a rookie mistake, and I'll own it. But the fact is, the guitar, the feel of the neck is great now. I left the rest of the paint, of course, alone. This thing over time will scratch up like crazy because it's just a cheap paint job. That's just paint sitting on wood. I swear to God. When I started sanding the paint off the back of the neck, it just went down to wood. There was no primer, nothing. And then I saw all that filler under there, so there must have been a big rift in that wood. So I'm going to turn on my Vox MV50 clean, right there. I've got a 9-volt battery extension pack on my pedal because I didn't bother, running all the 9-volt cords. But this guitar through my Laney 212 cub cab over there. No effects, no reverb, no nothing. I'm just going to show you this, and I'm going to show you with the Englishman pedal. Again, it's that's a cheap rig. That is a Temu pedal. People saying, it's junk. So I bought it to see if it was junk. Let's see how junk it is. This is the guitar, the neck position pickup. And by the way, I decided to stay with the original stock P90 type things that these are. I decided to stay with them. I bought a replacement pickup for the bridge position and decided against it after I had a chance to play with it for a while. Just a matter of getting the pickup heights correct and all that. And once I did, and I set the amp the way I like it, I became happy with it, so I just kept it. This is the neck position, and I hope it's in tune. This is the middle of the two pickups, the blend. I find it a little thin. Not too happy with the blend position. And this is that controversial bridge position pickup. Just clean, just by itself. The stock pickup. I mean, again, I can live with it. Now that's just clean with a lot of the mid-range scooped out of it. Let's engage that Englishman distortion pedal and see what we get. Englishman. Let me show you what the settings are. Cheap ass Englishman. You've got level, drive, presence, and tone. All right. Let's see. I'm in selfie mode, so it's a little weird. Can you see that? It's got its own level, so very powerful. A lot of gain, or a lot of volume. That's your volume. The drive. Right now, I've got it at about maybe about 8 out of 10. If I drop that down, get it sort of barky. A little more level, a little less drive. And the presence. Sounds like a voice. Sounds like a voicing. Gives you that bright room and all the way pegged. That's your presence. And tone. Tone out. Tone at half, noon. Three-quarters. Adds a little cheese back into the mix there. And pegged. That's what a tone button does. So I'm going to back these out. About to there. Put the level down. Drive back in. Half drive. That's a lot of drive for half. Three-quarters. And then full. Drive all the way in. Not bad for a $20-odd pedal off Temu. That's the bridge position pickup. Let's try the neck and see what we get from that. Now, if I go over to my Vox and change the EQ on it a little bit, let's get some. Let's put some mids back in it. The way to do that is drop the treble and the bass a bit, raise the volume. And we'll adjust the level on the pedal. Put a little bit of mid back in. Well, I'm making a mess of the song, but you get it. So I'm just showing you, you can get a fairly savage tone out of a cheap guitar, a cheap pedal, and a, you know, except for size, a fairly average well, a new tube head. I'm calling that a tube head. It's a 50 watt tube head. Right now it's running through an 8 ohm cab, which makes that a 25 watt output head right now, which does give it a little extra cheese there. But you can get some mean tone from inexpensive instruments, inexpensive pedal. So just a little something. Copyright strike. Anyway, that's it for today. Just wanted to share a little quick video with you. I hope that was fun. I hope that inspires you to get on Temu and try a cheap pedal and see what you think. And yeah, let me know what you think. Otherwise, have a great day. We'll talk to you guys soon. I decided to include this tiny piece of bonus content. Enjoy. I started out today to create a video for you to show how I was going to improve the playing of this guitar, my Epiphone Melody Maker E1 SL, my $50 Craigslist special. And there are a few things that I was going to show you how to do. The idea was I could not get the action low enough, and the bridge was already lying on the wood all the way down. And so I wanted to show you how to shim the neck and then check the bow in the neck, see if it was right, see if you had enough relief, or if you wanted no relief, or whatever the case may be. And I was going to show you how you take a cardboard business card and cut it into a 1/3 and 2/3, two pieces. Find a 1/3 mark, roughly, cut it straight across. Lay the 1/3 on top of the 2/3 down at one edge and bottom them out at the bottom of the neck pocket here. Punch holes in them for the screws. Put the neck back on. Tighten it back up and check to see if that gave you enough relief. And it did. And the strings are good now. And I could even raise the bridge a hair up off the body to have a little bit of play. And I was going to do all that, and I was going to make that video for you. The fact is, I did make that video for you. But Apple decided not to record it. So, here I am to tell you what I did, instead of showing you every single step, which I had this thing elaborately positioned to record for you, which is unusual for me. So, yeah. So today's video starts off with a fail. I think what happened was it was recording. I mean, I did a presentation that came out to be 33 minutes long. I could tell by the clock. And when I went back to watch it, it was 46 seconds long. And it stopped right in the middle of me yammering and showing you something. And here I was thinking that the phone was still on and recording. I guess a text had come in. And with this level of software, what can happen is if a text comes in while you're recording a video, the video stops. I don't know why. And I had no idea. I didn't even know I'd had a text come in. I didn't hear it. I was making noise. So thanks for tuning in to watch the video that didn't happen.